Good morning, world. I'd like to take a couple moments to talk to you about some signs that a mental illness may be brewing or surfacing. I know we've talked about different mental illnesses and things you can do, but to keep them at bay and what they are or aren't. But I wanted to take a few moments just to address a couple things that may be warning signs, maybe clear signs that there's something going on and that maybe you may need to do a little bit more to start getting help. One of the first signs is usually a change in behavior. When the symptoms start to manifest, a lot of times the person may be trying to compensate for what they're feeling on the inside with the way they behave on the outside, or it may just be that an inability to control certain things going on the inside that make the person behave in certain ways on the outside. For example, just out of character behavior is a person who's normally passive and quiet suddenly behaving in ways that are erratic, or the person just not being fully engaged in their lives as they used to be, or seeming to care less about things that they once cared about, or seeming to put a lot more emphasis, a lot more attention to things that they once never really cared about. So just noticing changes in behavior can be a good way to kind of just something to look at and think twice about. Another one is mood and agitation. A lot often when the symptoms are manifesting, the person may be more easily agitated. The person may have lower energy. Their mood may be going up and down, especially when you're looking at something like bipolar, where the person could be in a depressive state when and then later be in a manic state where in the depressive state they're low, and in the manic state they're super high, extra energy and all those other things, or it going from the extra to lack of energy. A person, one of the snapping part is usually one of the ways that I describe it, but it's not just snapping. The just mood changes that you would notice based on your knowledge of the individual, whether it's yourself or someone else, just looking for changes in mood that are more frequent than what they used to be. Another one is personality or character changes, and by that we're talking more about distinct things about the person's character that you can tell. For example, you get someone who is normally on time or early to everything, who suddenly starts showing up an hour late or maybe 2 hours late, or the person who's been very reliable who now you can no longer count on. It may be that they're so busy working on covering up or dealing with symptoms that they are investing so much time in managing their symptoms on their own that they are unable to keep up with the demands of their other life situations. For example, maybe the person may be so busy working on their symptoms that they start slacking at work. Maybe they start forgetting things because they're so busy abiding by a compulsion, or the person, all sorts of things, just out of character behaviors. It's not just the person was late today, but they're continuously late out of all of a sudden, or the person was usually a nice loving family person, and suddenly they're very withdrawn from their family. They don't want to be around family as much as they used to be. Or maybe the person becomes overly friendly, trying to compensate for something else that's going on the inside. So major character changes can be a telling sign as well. Another one is changes in substance use, because one of the things that happens when a person starts to develop this or experience the symptoms of a mental health issue, they try to medicate just as the person, anyone without a mental illness may have a bad day and they try to cope with that day, they try to pacify the stress of that day with a drink or two. Someone with a mental health issue would try to do the same thing, except that because it's an illness and not just one bad day. They don't just have a bad day today and have a drink. They start having bad day today, worse day tomorrow, and then so on and so forth. And as the days get worse, because the symptoms are getting stronger, then they start needing to medicate even more, meaning that they go from a single glass of wine to a whole lot more of a stronger liquor. And that's how sometimes they get into even illegal drugs, because when the legal stuff, such as your alcohol, is not working, then they start looking for things that may be stronger than what they have, or using larger quantities of the things that they are using. So changes in substance use, very telling, because if the person is trying to quiet the stress of the illness, and the illness cannot be managed by that quick fix that I don't know, you get drunk today and then you wake up tomorrow, you still have the same symptoms. It's not the same as just having a bad day. So, and finally, if the person reports feeling that there is a problem, because we know ourselves better than anyone else. If the person says, I'm thinking something's wrong, these are the symptoms that I'm experiencing that makes me think that something is wrong. If the person is experiencing and reporting that there is an issue, then more than likely there is an issue. And of course, these are not just for other people. You can notice these changes in yourself as well. Sometimes it's harder to take a step back and just look and see what's going on, but if you can, and whenever possible, you do step back and you noticing that, okay, you're having all these behavior changes, and you're experiencing mood agitations, and maybe you're starting to behave very far out of character, or your substance use is increasing, or you just feel like something is wrong. So all these are signs that maybe something is up, and you may just want to take a moment and seek out the help of a professional. Check it out. Maybe there is something wrong, and maybe there isn't, but it's better to check it out or have it checked as soon as you can. That way you can start ruling out what it is not, and if it is something, start getting the resources in place, start getting the treatments that are necessary to manage the symptoms, so that you don't have to continue to suffer from them. So again, changes in behavior, mood agitation, increased personality changes or out of character behaviors, and increase in substance use, and reports or the feeling that something is wrong are usually pretty telling signs that maybe there is a mental illness kind of trying to work its way into somebody's life. So when that happens, get help right away. Don't wait and hope that it goes away, because usually if it's an illness, it's not going to just go away. The sooner you get help, the sooner you can start managing the symptoms, and the less you'll have to suffer the consequences of having to deal with unmanaged symptoms. All right, so that's it for today. Again, continue to be good neighbors to your friends and those you know who may be suffering from a mental health issue. And if that someone is you, be nice to yourself as well. All right, good morning, world. Have a great day.